My golden brother proposed to my fiancée with a ring while my parents watched, so I slapped the ring out of his hand and called him an idiot. Be me, 29-year-old Marcus. Never thought I'd be writing one of these posts. Need to get this off my chest before I lose my mind. Some background first. Grew up in Ohio. Oldest of 3 kids. Worked my ass off through school. Got into Ohio State for computer engineering. Landed solid tech job in Cleveland after graduation. Built career there for almost a decade. Then took higher paying remote position. Let me move back to hometown in Ohio 2 years ago. Money was too good to pass up. $40,000 salary bump plus stock options. Already worth another $25,000. My younger brother, Tyler, 26 years old. Always been mother's favorite. Not in subtle ways either. She's blatant about it. While I had to work summer jobs to afford first car, Tyler got his handed to him for 18th birthday. When I needed help with college tuition, got lectures about financial responsibility. When Tyler wanted to start a business, food truck selling overpriced burgers, failed spectacularly in 9 months. Cost my parents $75,000. Parents drained their savings to fund it. Pattern was set early when we were kids. I'd get grounded for leaving bike out in rain. Tyler crashed his bike into neighbor's garden. Destroyed $400 worth of exotic plants. Mom blamed neighbor for planting too close to sidewalk. Still remember her writing that check with martyred expression. Then taking Tyler for ice cream afterward to cheer him up from the trauma. Don't get me wrong. Built my own life and did well for myself. Senior network security engineer making good money. Nice condo and put most family bullshit behind me. My sister Lily, 24 years old, gets it. She's a nurse who paid her own way through school. Dealt with same favoritism crap I did. Worked night shifts at 24-hour diner throughout nursing school. Coming home to study at 3 a.m. while Tyler was sleeping off parties in parents' basement. Lily and I have standing monthly video call to vent about family drama. These sessions usually end with us making bets on Tyler's next catastrophic life decision. Last month, I won $60 when I predicted he'd try to become a day trader after watching YouTube video about it. Lost $2,800 in 3 days. My best friend Connor, 29 years old, been in my corner since we were 12. Met in middle school when he called out teacher, who gave me detention for something I didn't do. Connor noticed Tyler had actually been throwing paper airplanes, but blamed me when caught. Connor stood up, pointed at Tyler, said it was that kid. Marcus is just covering for him, because that's what he always does. Connor got detention too, but we've been inseparable since. Connor's got this razor-sharp sarcasm, cuts through bullshit faster than anything. Works as mechanical engineer for a defense contractor. Never hesitates to point out when someone's being idiot. Especially when it comes to my family. Been telling me for years I should stop trying to win my parents' approval. Should have listened sooner. Connor meets me for basketball every Wednesday morning, where we destroy college kids half our age. Through pure strategy and dirty tricks, he calls it old man ball. Fewer jump shots, more elbows and trash talk. Real competition is our post-game debate on which of our families is more dysfunctional. His dad left when he was 9. His mom cycled through boyfriends like seasonal wardrobes, so it's usually close contest. About a year after moving back, I met Victoria, 28 years old, at local tech meetup downtown. She was presenting on digital marketing strategies for B2B clients. Smart as hell, takes no shit from anyone. Has dry sense of humor that kills me. Dropped 3 perfect Star Wars references during presentation, so I had to introduce myself afterward. Hit it off immediately. 6 months and things got serious. Victoria grew up with 4 brothers, in house where directness was valued above politeness. When she first met Connor, they spent 2 hours arguing about technical feasibility of lightsabers, while I just watched in amusement. She has black belt in jiu-jitsu, earned after some creep followed her home from college one night. She's not someone you mess with. Makes what happened later even more insane. Didn't mention Victoria to my family right away. Given our history, I keep personal life separate from family stuff until I'm sure about things. By Christmas, I decided it was time for them to meet her. Figured what could go wrong. That's when everything imploded. Showed my parents pictures of Victoria. When Tyler saw her, he completely lost it. Started shouting about how I was asshole for dating his ex. Had no clue they even knew each other, let alone dated. Apparently, Tyler and Victoria had gone on few casual dates. 3 months before I met her, According to him, it was some intense relationship that she ended abruptly. Pulled classic Tyler move, dramatically stomping upstairs and slamming bedroom door like he was 15, not 26. Mom immediately gave me that disappointed look she'd perfected over the years. Asked Victoria about it later. She told me the truth. They went on exactly 3 dates. She broke it off when he started acting possessive, after barely knowing her. On their 3rd date, he suggested she meet his parents. Talked about weekend trip to Cleveland when she said things were moving too fast. He showed up at her workplace with flowers next day. That was final straw. Refused to end things with Victoria over this bullshit. Tyler kept bringing it up for weeks, telling everyone who would listen that I stole his girlfriend. Mom started making passive-aggressive comments about family loyalty whenever Victoria's name came up. Eventually, Tyler stopped mentioning it. Thought we could all move on. Was dead wrong. Fast forward to this summer. Victoria and I had been together about 16 months. Knew she was the one. Planned elaborate proposal for her birthday. Rented private room at her favorite restaurant. Invited both our families and close friends. Spent 4 months' salary on perfect ring. Proposal went perfectly. She said yes, everyone cheered. One of best nights of my life. Well, almost everyone cheered. Tyler stormed out during applause, with my mother following him, like he was toddler having tantrum. On her way out, she glared at me, as if I'd proposed specifically to ruin Tyler's evening. Dad just shrugged apologetically. Stayed for celebration. Later that night, Connor pulled me aside. Said your mom literally chased after a 26-year-old man who was throwing fit about someone else getting engaged. Think about how insane that is. When he put it that way, was both hilarious and disturbing. Tyler was quiet for about 3 months after that. Barely spoke to me, which was fine by me. Then out of nowhere, he invited Victoria and me to dinner at his place with my parents and sister. Said he wanted to clear air before wedding, since my parents and Lily would be there as buffers. We accepted. Lily texted me beforehand. Suspicious timing. Want me to bring my taser? Thought she was joking. Turns out, we should have been even more prepared. Dinner was tense but uneventful. Mom kept asking Victoria pointed questions about her family and career goals, with subtle implication that marketing wasn't serious profession, like Tyler's perpetual entrepreneurship. Victoria handled it like pro, even complimenting Mom on her hideous new haircut, with completely straight face. Afterward, we all moved to living room for coffee. About half hour into conversation, Tyler stood up, said he had important announcement, launched into long dramatic speech about how happy he was to have everyone there for his special moment. Then, and I still can't believe this, he got down on one knee, pulled out ring box, and proposed to my fiancée. Room went dead silent. Victoria looked horrified. Told him to put ring away and get up. Dad tried to step in, but I was already across room. Grabbed Tyler by his shirt collar. Punched him square in jaw. He fell back, knocking over coffee table. As Dad pulled me off him, Tyler started spewing some delusional bullshit about how Victoria was only with me to get back at him for dumping her. This proved she didn't really love me. Mom was screaming at me for hitting her precious boy, completely ignoring what he had just done. Lily managed to get Victoria and me out of there before things got worse. In car, Victoria was furious. She couldn't believe Tyler would pull something like that, especially in front of our families. When we got home, I checked damage to my hand. Nothing broken, just bruised knuckles, while Victoria paced kitchen. I went on 3 dates with him, Marcus. 3 dates, and he does this year and a half later. Who does that? Had no answer. Logic doesn't apply to Tyler's world. Been weeks since then, and I'm still seeing red. My parents have been blowing up my phone, mostly defending Tyler and saying I overreacted. Mom even had audacity to suggest I apologize to him for punching him. He's sensitive and was just expressing his feelings, she texted. Violence is never the answer. Texted back, neither is proposing to your brother's fiancée. Finally decided to confront Tyler directly. Called him and insisted Victoria be present for conversation. He surprisingly agreed. We met at my place following weekend. When Tyler arrived, he looked like shit. Sat silently for a few minutes before I broke ice by asking him to explain himself. Look, it's not what you think, he started. I was trying to prove a point. What point could possibly justify proposing to my fiancée? I demanded. He explained that he'd been talking to his buddy Blake about Victoria and me. Blake had put it in his head that Victoria only started dating me as revenge for Tyler rejecting her. They cooked up this test to see if she would leave me for Tyler when given chance. If you're wondering who Blake is, he's Tyler's equally delusional friend from college, guy who convinced Tyler that cryptocurrency was guaranteed investment right before market crashed. Also marketing expert who designed logo for Tyler's food truck, cartoon burger that looked disturbingly anatomical. Their combined IQ barely reaches room temperature. Blake said if she was using you to get back at me, she'd either say yes to my proposal or at least be flattered by it, Tyler explained. Fact that she was disgusted proved she might actually love you. Victoria was livid. So you humiliated all of us to prove a point? You realize how insane that is, right? Tyler shrugged. I had to know for sure, Blake said. Blake's 27-year-old who lives in his mom's basement, I interrupted. Maybe don't take relationship advice from him. The conversation went downhill from there. Tyler maintained that he was justified in his actions, because bros before hoes, his actual words, said if situation were reversed, he would have respected the code and backed off. Knew that was complete bullshit. Before leaving, Tyler declared, he wouldn't attend our wedding. I can't support this marriage knowing I had her first. 3 dates isn't having someone first, you idiot, I told him. And don't worry, your invitation was already in Shredder. After he left, I called my parents to explain what happened. Dad seemed to understand the situation, but Mom was still making excuses for Tyler's behavior, calling it misunderstanding, suggesting we were being too harsh on him. He's always been sensitive, she said, and he really liked Victoria. You should have checked with him before you started dating her. We went on 3 dates 1.5 years ago, Victoria said, loud enough for Mom to hear over phone. I barely knew him. Mom hung up after that. Lily called later to say she was fully on our side. Thought Tyler's behavior was inexcusable. I'd been saying it for years. Mom created Monster. Good luck getting her to see it, though. For now, I decided to go low contact with Tyler and parents. Victoria and I focused on moving forward with wedding planning. Though family drama was casting shadow over what should have been happy time, that weekend Connor came over with pizza and his PlayStation. Wedding planning break, he declared. You need to shoot some virtual bad guys instead of your actual brother. He wasn't wrong. About a month later, situation exploded again. At my sister Lily's promotion celebration dinner, my parents hosted it at their house. Tyler was conveniently busy that evening. Lily had recently been promoted to charge nurse in ER. During dinner, Lily mentioned her upcoming trip to Europe, then casually said, Marcus, I know Tyler's uninvited from your wedding, but you'd be cool with him coming to my birthday party next month, right? Laughed it off and told her it was her party, her guest list. Mom, who had been silently fuming all night, suddenly snapped. Is Tyler really still uninvited to your wedding? I thought you were just being dramatic. Confirmed that yes, he was still uninvited. She started ranting about how I was being childish and holding grudges. Reminded her that Tyler and I had mutually agreed he wouldn't attend. She accused me of trying to divide family. Said I was jealous of Tyler's charisma. What charisma? I thought. Guy wears graphic tees with crypto slogans. Hasn't had real jobs since college. His idea of witty conversation is quoting Joe Rogan podcasts. But in Mom's eyes, he's George Clooney, and Elon Musk rolled into one. Bit my tongue and told her this wasn't time or place to discuss it. We were there to celebrate Lily. Mom stormed off to kitchen. Rest of night was awkwardly silent. Dad tried to salvage evening by asking Lily detailed questions about her new role, but damage was done. 3 days later, Mom showed up at my house unannounced. Victoria was working from home. I had just gotten back from meeting. Mom barged in without waiting for invitation, demanded we settle this Tyler situation once and for all. She launched into bizarre lecture about how I should be secure enough in my relationship not to worry about Tyler's harmless prank. Her words for the proposal said uninviting him was cruel and petty, that I needed to be bigger person. Told her again that Tyler and I had both agreed he shouldn't come. If she had issue with it, she should talk to him. This led to shouting match, where she finally dropped the bomb. If Tyler's not welcome, then I'm not coming either. That's your choice, I replied calmly. I'm not going to beg you to be at my wedding. She looked shocked, like she expected me to cave immediately. You would really be okay with your mother missing your wedding? Wouldn't be first important event of mine you've missed. Because of Tyler, would it? That hit home. She'd skipped my college graduation because Tyler had minor cold. Missed my first professional award ceremony because it was same night as Tyler's community theater performance. He played Tree Number 3 and had no lines. She called me cruel and stormed out. Within hours, my phone was blowing up, with texts and calls from her side of family. Aunts, uncles, cousins all telling me I was being unreasonable, needed to respect my mother. Dad called privately later that evening. Son, I think your mother's wrong on this one. Tyler was out of line, and actions have consequences. I'll be at your wedding regardless of what she decides. This was first time Dad had openly disagreed with Mom about Tyler. Was genuinely surprised. Maybe he was finally growing spine after 36 years of marriage. Meanwhile, Tyler started posting cryptic social media updates about family betrayal and blood means nothing anymore. Mom commented supportive things on all his posts, further fueling drama. He even created public playlists called Songs for Traitors. That was mostly whiny emo tracks from 2006. Victoria was caught in middle. Mom had been texting her directly, trying to guilt her into convincing me to change my mind. When Victoria didn't respond, Mom started spreading rumors that Victoria was controlling me and turning me against my family. For now, most of Mom's family was boycotting wedding, while Dad's side was still planning to attend. Lily reaffirmed she was coming regardless of drama. We decided to downsize wedding, since our guest list had been nearly cut in half. Silver lining, we saved almost $12,000 on venue and catering, which we put toward nicer honeymoon in Iceland. 2 weeks after wedding boycott began, Mom showed up at our house unannounced again. Victoria texted me at work saying Mom was at door, asking to talk. Told Victoria I'd be home in 20 minutes, to let her in if she felt comfortable doing so. When I arrived, they were sitting at dining table. Mom had barely touched coffee Victoria had made her. Tension in room was palpable. Mom started with what seemed like olive branch. I've been thinking about everything. Want to clear the air. Family is too important to let this drive us apart. For a brief moment, I thought she might actually apologize. Instead, she turned to Victoria and said, I was hoping to catch you alone today. Think without Marcus's influence. You'd see reason about this Tyler situation. Victoria calmly replied, with all due respect, I wouldn't discuss this without Marcus present. This involves his brother and his family. Mom's face darkened. So you need permission to speak now? I thought you were supposed to be independent. Stepped in, Mom, that's enough. If you came here to insult Victoria, you can leave right now. She ignored me and continued addressing Victoria. You know, before you came along, our family was perfectly fine. Now suddenly Marcus thinks he's too good for us. I wonder where he got that idea. Before I came along, Victoria replied with impressive restraint. Marcus was already a successful professional, who'd built his own life despite not because of his family support. Victoria stood up. I think you should go. We can talk when everyone's calmer. That's when Mom completely lost it. As Victoria was walking towards the door, Mom grabbed her by hair and yanked her backward. Victoria stumbled and fell. Mom was on top of her in seconds, screaming incoherently and trying to scratch her face. Pulled Mom off and physically removed her from house. She kept pounding on door for nearly 10 minutes before finally leaving. Victoria was shaken, but thankfully not seriously hurt. Some scratches, bruised arm, and small patch of hair pulled out. Immediately called Dad and Lily to tell them what happened. Dad was shocked, but still tried to make excuses. Your mother's been under a lot of stress lately. So have I replied. Somehow, I've managed not to assault anyone. Lily, who's seen plenty of domestic violence cases as nurse, came over immediately to check on Victoria. Strongly encouraged us to file police report. This isn't normal family conflict, she insisted. This is assault. Victoria was reluctant to involve police, but agreed to file report after we explained why having official record might be important. If things escalated further, responding officers explained that even without Victoria pressing charges, case could still be pursued based on evidence. They also suggested we consider restraining order. One officers pulled me aside when Victoria was giving statement. Look, I deal with family disputes all time. This isn't normal heated argument territory. Your mother crossed serious line. Handed me card for family law attorney, who specialized in restraining orders. Throughout all this, Tyler was surprisingly absent from drama. Texted him to let him know what happened. His only response was, "Shit, that's messed up, sorry." No defense of our mom, no attempt to shift blame, just simple acknowledgement that she had crossed line. Called Connor after everything went down. He drove over with food from our favorite burger joint. Listened to whole story. After I finished, he just shook his head. "Dude, I've been telling you for 16 years your mom's nuts. Maybe now you'll actually believe me." He helped me draft no contact email to my mother. Email was short and to point. "After your physical attack on Victoria, I'm cutting contact. Do not come to our home. Do not contact us by phone, email, or through third parties. Any future communication will be through our attorney. This is non-negotiable. Blocked mom on every platform. Told dad I wouldn't be speaking to her again until she got professional help, and offered genuine apology to Victoria. We started seriously discussing moving out of state after wedding. Victoria had been offered position at her company's Tampa office. My job was remote anyway. Fresh start, 650 miles away from this toxic family environment. Sounded pretty damn good. Next day, Victoria and I went to courthouse. Filed for temporary restraining order against my mother. Judge granted it immediately, based on police report and photos. My mother was legally prohibited from coming within 500 feet of us or our home for next 90 days. What I haven't mentioned yet is financial aspect of all this family drama. 5 years ago, my grandfather passed away, left substantial inheritance to be split among his 3 grandchildren. Me, Tyler, and Lily. My parents were named as trustees until we either turned 30 or got married, whichever came first. My grandfather was shrewd businessman who built chain of hardware stores across Midwest. Sold business for 8 figures few years before he died. Each of us grandkids was supposed to receive about $420,000 plus proceeds from some investment properties he owned. Never saw much of that money. Whenever I asked about it, my parents had excuses about why it couldn't be accessed, or claimed most of it went to family expenses. Lily had same experience. After a salt incident, I started looking more closely at trust situation, requested bank statements and transaction records, which my parents were legally required to provide as trustees. What I found was infuriating, but not surprising. They had been systematically using trust funds, primarily my share and Lily's, to support Tyler's lifestyle and failed business ventures. His apartment, $2,000 monthly rent paid for with trust money. His car, $38,000 SUV bought outright with trust money. His failed food truck business, $75,000 from trust. His custom gaming PC, $4,800 from trust. Meanwhile, I'd received exactly $13,000 for education expenses. Lily had gotten $11,000 over 5 years from trust that should have provided each of us with nearly $500,000. Paper trail was damning. They'd set up automatic transfers from trust account to Tyler's personal checking account, $3,600 monthly for living expenses. There were regular payments to his credit cards, his car insurance, his cell phone, his streaming subscriptions, even his dating app premium memberships. Consulted with attorney who specialized in estate law, he confirmed what I suspected. My parents had breached their fiduciary duty as trustees by clearly favoring one beneficiary over others, and using trust for purposes not intended by my grandfather. With Lily's full support, I filed civil suit against my parents for breach of fiduciary duty, misappropriation of funds, and violation of trust terms. Documentation was irrefutable. Bank transfers, credit card statements, rental agreements, all showing exactly where my money had gone. When lawsuit papers were served, all hell broke loose. Dad called, panic evident in his voice. "Marcus, we need to talk about this. There's been misunderstanding." "Bank records are pretty clear, Dad," I replied. "No misunderstanding." Mom got online suddenly sweet as honey. "Sweetheart, we always intended to repay that money. We were just helping your brother through rough patch." "5-year rough patch?" I asked. "Besides, it wasn't your money to lend. It was specifically left to us by Grandpa. Civil lawsuit proved to be tactical nuclear option. My lawyer was former prosecutor, who specialized in financial crimes, treated case like personal crusade. He uncovered that my parents had not only misappropriated funds, but had also doctored some annual trust reports. They were legally required to file. Lawsuit hit them hard financially. Their assets were temporarily frozen while case proceeded, which meant they couldn't continue supporting Tyler. Their credit score tanked once court case became public record. Dad, who'd been planning to retire next year, had to shelve those plans indefinitely. Mom had to go back to work as receptionist at dentist's office, job she considers beneath her. They had to withdraw from their country club because they couldn't afford fees anymore. Entire situation became quietly known in their social circle. Nobody said anything directly, but they stopped getting invited to fancy dinner parties. They used to brag about, turns out embezzling from your own kids doesn't make you popular with other golf club parents. Tyler's rent came due. His car payment was late. His credit cards were maxed out. For first time in his life, Tyler had to face actual consequences. Couldn't qualify for new credit cards or loans because his existing debt was too high, and he had no income history. His electricity got shut off for 4 days in middle of winter because he couldn't pay bill. Weakened to this financial drought, Tyler called me. Look, man, I know we've had our differences, but I'm in serious bind here. Could you loan me some cash until this blows over? I'll pay you back. Sorry, no, I replied. My finances are tied up in legal fees, recovering what was stolen from me and Lily. Come on, I'm about to be evicted. Sounds like problem you should solve yourself. Target's hiring. Silence on other end was deafening before he hung up. Month after the lawsuit was filed, Victoria and I had our smaller, more intimate wedding. 45 guests instead of 180. Dad attended solo and was respectful throughout event. Lily was there with her boyfriend. Tyler and Mom were nowhere to be seen. Exactly as planned. Connor was my best man. Managed to keep things light despite everything. His toast included lying about how he'd never seen man, dodged so many bullets from his own family, and still come out ahead. Everyone who knew situation laughed harder than they probably should have. Court case was settled before it went to trial. My parents agreed to structured repayment plan that wouldn't leave them homeless, but would require them to sell their vacation property and downsize significantly. Their lake house in northern Ohio sold for less than they paid. They had to move from their 3,800 square foot house into a bottom 100 square foot condo. In neighborhood, they used to mock. Dad's prized boat was one of first things they had to sell to make initial payments. Remaining trust funds were placed under control of neutral third-party trustee. With strict distribution guidelines, according to new arrangement, I would receive my full share immediately, since I was over 27 and married. Lily would get hers when she turned 27 in few years. Tyler's portion would remain in trust until he either turned 30 or showed proof of legitimate employment. For at least 14 consecutive months, Tyler was furious when he found out he wouldn't have immediate access to his share. That money is rightfully mine, he texted me. 1/3 of it is, I replied, and you'll get it according to original terms of Grandpa's will, for education, legitimate business plans with oversight, or when you turn 30, no more blank checks. Once judge-approved settlement, my share was released immediately. It was surreal to see that much money in my account, $367,000 after legal fees and tax considerations. Lily would get about same when she turned 27. Remainder of trust, including Tyler's portion, was worth approximately $415,000, with some of that earmarked for repaying what my parents had already spent. First thing I did was pay off our mortgage. Second was to fund proper honeymoon for Victoria and me. 2 weeks in Iceland, all expenses paid. First-class flights. Third was to establish my own investment portfolio, something my grandfather would have approved of. Didn't mention money to Tyler. As far as he knew, everything was still tied up in legal proceedings. Let him sweat a little longer. Been 7 months since the lawsuit was settled. We relocated to Tampa as planned. Victoria's thriving in her new position. I've been promoted to lead security architect at my company. We bought house in nice suburb. Finally enjoying some peace and quiet. Our new place is everything we wanted. 4 bedrooms, finished basement, backyard big enough for dog. We adopted German Shepherd mix from local shelter. Named him Rocket. He's smart as hell and already knows dozen commands. Victoria jokes that he listens better than any of my family members ever did. My parents have been sending emails and texts almost daily, alternating between apologies, updates on their progress with Tyler, and not so subtle hints that they'd love to visit Tampa sometime. Respond occasionally, but maintain firm boundaries. We had to renew restraining order once before our move, but didn't, since we're now states away. Dad calls once a month, usually to update me on their finances, tight but manageable, and his therapy progress slow but steady. He's learning to recognize his enabling patterns, working on setting boundaries with Mom and Tyler. Most surprising development has been Tyler. With his financial safety net gone, he finally got a job at local tech store. According to Lily, who still talks to him occasionally, he's actually sticking with it, working regular hours and earning his own money. Seems to be changing his perspective. Last month, he sent me email that caught me off guard. Been thinking about everything. That proposal bullshit was messed up, I see that now. Wasn't even about Victoria. I was just jealous you had your life together. While I was complete mess, Mom and Dad made it way too easy for me to be screw-up, and I took advantage. That's on me. Not asking for forgiveness. Just wanted you to know things look different. When you're not living in fantasy land, working actual hours for actual paychecks has been eye-opening. Tell Victoria I'm sorry for being dick. You guys didn't deserve any of that. Didn't respond immediately. Needed time to process it. After discussing it with Victoria, I sent brief reply. Thanks for apology. It means something. Good luck with job. Last week, I received package from my hometown. Inside was check for $450 with note. First installment on what I owe you. Not much, but it's start T. Amount was laughable compared to what had been taken from my trust. But gesture wasn't lost on me. Was first time in his life Tyler had actually taken responsibility for anything. Mom still doesn't get it. Her latest email included line, I don't understand why you're still punishing us. When Tyler has clearly moved on, she doesn't realize this was never about punishment. It was about accountability. She continues sending passive-aggressive emails. Last month, she sent long email about how everyone makes mistakes and how real families forgive each other. Forwarded it to Connor, who replied, with single gif of man playing world's smallest violin. Dad seems to be slowly coming around. He started therapy and recently sent me email, acknowledging his role in enabling Tyler and neglecting me and Lily. I was coward, he wrote. It was easier to give in to your mother and Tyler than to stand up for what was right. I failed you as father, and I'm trying to be better. Lily visits us in Tampa every few months. She's engaged now and planning destination wedding in Hawaii next year. She's invited Tyler, but not our parents. Her choice, and I respect it. She and her fiancé, a pediatric surgeon, she met at hospital, are looking at houses near us. Idea of having my sister close by again feels like getting back something I lost years ago. Inheritance from my grandfather has changed our financial landscape completely. Victoria and I have set up college funds for our future kids, invested in vacation property in North Carolina mountains. We're careful with money. No luxury cars or designer clothes, but it's tremendous relief to have that financial cushion. As for me and Victoria, we're doing better than ever. Distance from my family drama has been healing for both of us. We're talking about starting family soon, on our terms, in our peaceful new life. Connor comes down to visit about once a month. He got a job that requires traveling to Southeast regularly. Always makes time to crash at our place. He and Victoria get along great, mainly because they both enjoy giving me shit. Last time he was over, he looked around our new house, nodded approvingly and said, you know what best part of this place is? It's too far for your mom to drop by unannounced. He's not wrong. Sometimes I think about how that insane proposal at Tyler's apartment set off this chain of events that ultimately led to everyone in my family facing reality for first time. Mom lost her control. Dad found his spine. Tyler got dose of real life. And I finally stopped seeking approval from people who were never going to give it freely. It wasn't path I expected, but I'm finally free of the bullshit.